Welcome, everyone, to the Commentary Podcast. I am your host, Pat Brennan. Today on the podcast, we are going to be continuing our classic cinema series with Meet Me in St. Louis. It was released in 1944. It is written by Irving Brecher and Fred F. Finkelhoff and directed by Vincent Minnelli. The film stars Judy Garland, Margaret O'Brien, Mary Astor, Lucille Bremer, Tom Drake, Marjorie Main, Leon Ames, and Harry Davenport. Young love and childish fears highlight a year in the life of a turn-of-the-century family. Now, I'm going to be watching the Blu-ray copy I have of Meet Me in St. Louis. Unfortunately, it is not available to stream for free anywhere, but you can rent it on Amazon, Apple, and Fandango at home for $4. I say we get things kicked off. We are going to be pressing play on Meet Me in St. Louis, and I hope you do as well. In 3, 2, and 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another classic cinema series. And also welcome back to the podcast. Off for a little bit, a week and a half, and excited to get back into the groove of it. Had a nice little vacation, which we'll talk about in the next weekly film news. But it's nice to be back and recording the classic cinema with a great MGM musical and Meet Me in St. Louis. I always want to say Meet Me in St. Louis as the title, but title is Meet Me in St. Louis, but they sing Meet Me in St. Louis as the song. But what can you do? I guess I can say whatever. Maybe this movie is called Meet Me in St. Louis. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to coin it as Meet Me in St. Louis. It's also the first, I think it's the first Judy Garland film we've done on the podcast so far. The first one. It's not The Wizard of Oz. We've done. We're not doing Meet Me in St. Louis, but Wizard of Oz will definitely be on the classic cinema series soon. I think it's going to be on it very, very soon. So be on the lookout maybe for The Wizard of Oz from Judy Garland. One of the best. I mean, nothing can beat beautiful Technicolor. I mean, this film looks, we were watching it the other day, and not many films look like this anymore. It's kind of sad that color is deprived from film. But hey, that Technicolor, it fucking pops. Yeah, Mary Astor here. Probably most known for Maltese Falcon. She is in the Maltese Falcon, which we did on the podcast a few months ago. She plays Judy Garland's mother in this. This is Anna Smith. What I love about this is, I think I always love talking about movies from this era and the classic cinema era because they, to me, feel like movies. Because like when I'm looking at this shot right here, I can clearly tell that that's a backdrop. It's not real, and this is a film set. But for me, that's what makes it magical, is we're creating this film set that clearly is a film set, but it looks, again, it looks better than 90% of what we see today. Everything is meticulously thought out. The set design is beautiful. It's incredible. They move the camera through the whole set. A lot of times they don't do that anymore. I mean, they don't really shoot movies on sound stages that much anymore. Kind of all shot on location now, but when they did shoot them on sound stages, like they did obviously in the Warner Brothers lot, which as I'm recording this, is only about 5 minutes away where they shot this. Um, yeah, it's just beautiful. This actor here, Harry Davenport, probably, I don't know if he's most known for Gone. Probably knows like this, but he's in Gone with the Wind from 1939, a few years before. It's the golden year of cinema, which is also the year that The Wizard of Oz came out in 1939 with Judy Garland, which sparked Judy Garland into stardom, threw her into stardom. At the time of this movie, she was only, I believe, 21 when she shot it, 22 when it was released, and I think up until this point, she was kind of I think she was tired of playing like a teenager. She didn't want to play a teenager anymore. Obviously, she was always cast as the teenager up to this point, and when she first was originally offered this role, she turned it down because she didn't want to be that teenager character anymore. And it was actually Vincent Minnelli who changed her mind and said that if we do this right, it will be a hit for both of us. And he was 100% right. It was a hit for both of them, and not long after that, they got married and had Eliza Minnelli. So there's actually a film in the good old summertime, which is, I guess, technically a Christmas movie, but the title is really off, like misleading. Um, at the very end of that film, there is a baby that Judy Garland is holding, and that is little Eliza Minnelli. Fun fact, if you have seen that film, the baby at the end is Eliza Minnelli. What I think is so good about this film too is everyone is perfectly cast. Um, Marjorie Main here, she plays Katie the maid, and every character is so distinct in how they act and how they move their body, and I think she's probably the most underrated performance in this. I think she gives this kind of like, it's kind of like, if you like, the soul of the house kind of a thing. And it's weird to say because she's the maid, but she is she is just a part of this family as anyone else is in this film. So she gives a incredibly underrated performance. We have Lucille Bremer here as Rose. He was like the, I guess, it's kind of like the for some reason, like, I think of like Bridgerton in this way, where it's like, oh, we're gonna be married off like now, and it's just like a different era where they're going off to they're, I mean, obviously later in the next few minutes here, obviously spoiler, I mean, the movie came out in 1944, but she's waiting for possibly a call from someone in New York to propose to her on the phone. And what I love about what they do, obviously, with the sets too, is you can clearly tell, like, cut back here, like now we're back on the soundstage, but they were using outside location in that last shot. They were using outside location, and I like when movies do that, when you can clearly tell the transition is cutting back into a soundstage. Like, it's clearly a soundstage, and I don't know. It to me, it gives that movie magic. It's, you know, it's not real, but you believe it's real. What I also love about classic cinema too is those the backdrops there, when it was supposed to be, you can see outside, is like, oh, it's clear it's outside, but it's obviously not. Those were all hand painted backdrops that were essentially to scale. So like there's a lot of crafts going on in the background, a lot of detail for these films. And nowadays you would just basically take a photo and blow it up, and there's your backdrop. Simple, simple. But back then there didn't really have that, so I mean, would blow up the, not blow up, they would hand draw the backdrop and make it completely detailed. Obviously now we have The beauty of Judy Garland's voice. Most beautiful voices ever in cinema and in general. I love the when we were watching it the other day. The white and blue maybe resembles Dorothy's outfit in The Wizard of Oz. Same colors. I don't know. Possibly. Possibly. What I think Judy just does so well is be able to like this camera is just sitting on her and she's able to captivate the audience with just her voice, and we've been sitting on her for about a minute now, just the same shot and just letting her go. And I feel like movies today are afraid to do that. I feel like they're afraid to let actors act in the frame, let them keep going. I mean, if you have a talent, obviously, like Judy Garland, then it's a little easier. But sometimes it's a very simple shot. It's framed perfectly. It's incredible. We were just following her up and down as she sings about the boy next door that doesn't recognize her, but spoiler alert, he does recognize her and he does like her. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. So yeah, that was like what, about a 2 minute 30-second shot of her just looking out the window and singing directly almost to the camera. And I think it just shows the immeasurable talent of Judy Garland and the talent that she had as a performer. And again, she's only 21 here. And another incredible performance. I think this film only got 4 Academy Award nominations, I believe. Yeah, 5. It got best screenplay nom, best cinematography nom. Back then, they had 2 separate categories for that. They had color and black and white. It was nominated obviously for color because of the Technicolor. Had a best score nom, and then a best song nom for the Charlie song. But also back then, they had a special Academy Award called the Academy Juvenile Award. I think they only ran for about like 14 years, I think. Judy Garland actually won it in 1939 for The Wizard of Oz. The statue was half the size of the Academy Award, half the size, and Margaret O'Brien in this film, who plays Judy, who just was about to come on the screen. She won it for this film. So yeah, fun fact, there was a Juvenile Academy Award back in the day, and I don't know, maybe that'll be a trivia question soon on the podcast of what I just said. So if you're listening and maybe in a couple episodes you hear that question, you will now know the answer because I just told you. Yeah, obviously now Rose is waiting to hear from the guy in New York who's going to call to possibly be asking for her hand in marriage. And that's going to be the plot during dinner. And the dinner scene coming up is fantastic. And I think what's beautiful about these films too is I bring it up every single time is this is some of the best blocking you will ever see in cinema. Or these classics, just every single person right here is in the frame. They have their marks. They know exactly where to be. The cat's even framed perfect. You can see what everyone's doing. Here we go, introducing to Judy, who's probably the Best part of the film, I would say, she's kind of reckless, but hey, Margaret O'Brien gives an incredible performance, and that performance gave her a Juvenile Academy Award. So she gives an iconic performance of Tootie in this film. And obviously, right here you have some green screen and what other I mean, I will say that this film is probably most known for the ending. It gives you the famous "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" sung by Judy Garland. Yes, if you're listening, that is from this film, 1944. People probably don't know that. This has a Christmas. People watch this during Christmas time, even though it takes place kind of during the whole year, or in spring now. It ends in winter. But yeah, the "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" is from this film, which begs the question: is this a Christmas film as well? Is this a holiday film? I think it personally is. I tend to try and watch this during holiday season. During the holiday season, not during holiday season, during the holiday season. But I don't know. I guess that's a question to ask the listeners. If you're listening to this, do you consider this a Christmas film? Or do you just consider it a film you can watch any time of the year, which you can technically. I mean, you can watch any film at any time you want. You can watch a Christmas movie right now if you feel like it. And fuck it, do it. Who gives a shit? No one's stopping you. Just do it. But yeah, it's that song is. We can talk about it when we get to that song. But that song is probably the most iconic part of this film, and it wasn't even on her. It's not like the trolley song is kind of also very well known from this film, and the trolley song is about halfway through, and that's the Academy Award nominated song for this film. For those that know me, though, I sing this song randomly all the time. They meet me in St. Louis song. I love that shot, the little angle shot of them as they sing, and you have like is it called a bust, the head bust or head like sculpture of two people singing over each other? It's like that. It's like they're both singing as the statues. And now we're introduced to their father, a businessman, obviously. Looks like a businessman, a lawyer. Um, there's Leon Ames, Mr. Alonzo Smith. So. And he's, again, I think that what I love about this film is each character is so distinct, and each performance is also so distinct. They each carry themselves in a certain way that even just through their body language, you can tell what each person is feeling, what each character is feeling. And I feel like sometimes people kind of write off these classic films as just like, oh, it's just they have a transatlantic accent. They don't. No one talks like this. No one acts like this. But yeah, in a sense that you're right. No one talks like that. But the actors are incredible actors physically, as well as their dialogue. They know exactly what they're doing. This is a different era of cinema, and this was that era of cinema. This is how people acted, and these actors can act with their body movements, and that's an unsung, I guess, like an underrated, I guess, part, not unsung, an underrated part of their performances is how they carry their bodies, especially during this entire dinner scene. To me, this is the best scene in the film. Everyone is perfect in this scene. The blocking is perfect. The camera movement is perfect. Every single piece of action and dialogue is perfect. If I were teaching a film class on basically, I guess it would be like a film 101 class. And hey, first day of film school or first day of class, we are in the very first like 5 minutes. People walk in and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to play this scene. Press play. And we watch this, I think it's like 5-10 minute scene of them waiting for the guy in New York to call Rose. Um, but I wouldn't say anything. I would just play the scene. And then when the scene ends, I would turn to the class and be like, what did you notice about that scene? Because you can learn a lot from these classic films that, again, a lot of people write them off. They write them off as boring. It's too old. I only watch movies made today, which, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I say this every time we record one of these things. You wouldn't have those movies today if you didn't have Meet Me in St. Louis. Just how it is. I could eat some tomato soup and grilled cheese right now. I could. Honestly, that sounds pretty fucking fire. Not gonna lie. They're all trying to eat really fast because they don't want their father to know what's coming and a phone call coming. They hoping that they can eat super fast, get him clear from the table, that he would leave, and then when the phone rings, that Rose can then eat. Or not eat. They're eating, sorry. Rose can then answer the phone. She's not going to eat the phone because that'd be fucking weird if she ate the phone. But and they're dropping hints later in the film that the World's Fair will be coming to St. Louis, and that's going to be a big part at the end of the film. But we aren't there yet. We are only at the beginning. But I feel like if you were teaching a class and you were just showing this scene, you don't need any context before or after. You can clearly tell that there's tension there, that they're waiting for something. And that's all you need. You can pull this scene out. Again, pull it out, play it. Everyone would know exactly what's going on. They're kind of quote unquote, I guess, against their father here, even though he's obviously not an enemy, but they just don't want him to know something. Then obviously when the phone rings, you're like, oh, okay, they're waiting for the phone to ring. But now the father is going to mess up Rose's chances here. But again, look at the blocking here. Look how all their heads are turned to that direction. Everyone's in the frame. You can see it all perfectly. You can see everybody's face. They're all lit. The lights are from the top. Well, I like that line right there. Not every telephone call is for you. As in, like, yeah, I know you're the man of the house, quote unquote, but not every phone call is for you. Sometimes other people have lives. And that's true. Some people have lives that aren't yours. Some people need to realize that, hey, you're not the main character. Okay? Sorry, that's probably mean. But you're not the main character. But I think what Minnelli does well here with the blocking is he's mixing like the comedy there of the girls turning their heads as soon as the dad turns around. And you're trying to blend the comedy with Tootie just trying to ignore the question, and this is like your comedic moments here of the father realizing that he's the only one that didn't know that someone was going to be calling. So I guess in his mind he feels kind of left out, but yeah, and there's your like, oh, I guess I was voted out. Like, but like they're kind of against him because he answered the phone. But hey, if you had told him that someone was going to be calling, then maybe he would have let you answer the phone. But I love that moment there when you have Katie like listening in, and because she is part of the family too. She wants to know what's going on. Obviously, you have the phone ring. Look at that blocking. Look at that shot. Every single person is in the frame. You can see where their heads are. You can see them. Again, that it's meticulous way of shooting and staging, but you need to do that. And I love that you have to back then yell into the. I guess some people do still do that today. They'll yell into their phone, and I can't hear you. Oh, Warren kind of fumbles the ball for a little bit. And as we go along, we'll see how much he fumbles the ball. Classic guy. He was waiting for her to call while she was waiting for him to call. Warren, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? She's waiting for you to ask. What are you doing? But again, in this scene, we've moved the camera now. We're using a different location to cut back and forth. You should be showing this scene to anyone that wants to get into film, learning how to make films. This is how you do it. Everything you need is in this scene. It's a perfect scene. People probably would watch it and say, okay, yeah, it was a good scene. But for me, it's a perfect scene. This is what filmmaking is all about. And I love this scene. One of my favorite scenes. I wonder how many of these like MGM or classic musicals will do on the classic cinema series. Obviously, we have the Wizard of Oz classic musical, but I mean, this is kind of credited as the starting of that golden age of movie musicals. People would credit Meet Me in St. Louis as like kind of the first one. And when people think of musicals, they think that there's a song every 5 minutes, and kind of that's what it was. But what I think this movie does well is that it has its dramatic moments, it has its comedic moments, and it has its musical moments. And the music's obviously a big part of the film. And obviously, Warren didn't propose, but now they can get back to dinner. Oh, Warren, you messed up. But yeah, incredible scene. Incredible scene. If you are a professor, a film professor, film teacher, and showing anyone cinema that wants interested in it, that wants to learn how to do things, just show them that scene. And you can break it down shot by shot, what's going on, and it's beautiful. It's perfect. I love this shot here too. You know what? I think it's another thing that's missing from movies today. A good mirror shot like this. Look how beautiful this looks. It almost looks like they're like looking into snow. Like there's snow around the mirror. But it just looks incredible. Like the reflection, the camera setup, they're perfectly within that mirror frame. It's incredible. And Judy Garland's hair, that red just pops. I guess she calls it auburn hair, but it just looks fantastic in Technicolor. It looks fantastic in Technicolor. Garland was actually, I think when she first got the script, she was pretty like unhappy with a lot of in it, especially the "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" song, which we can talk about obviously at the end. She had some notes for that, and I'll talk about that later. But I think she, at this point in her career, she was starting to be unsure of herself as a leading lady because she had always been cast as that teen and trying to make that transition into being a leading lady and not being a teen anymore. I mean, she's obviously a teenager in this, but her being cast in this role, which she originally turned down, and then obviously Vincent Minnelli, like I said earlier, convinced her. She was still very unsure of herself as an actor moving forward. She was suffering from some severe like emotional problems at this time, and had acute migraines, a lot of physical ailments, and it was around this time she was starting getting addicted to drugs and alcohol, and it's just really sad what happened throughout Judy Garland's life and how she was treated, especially in Hollywood. And a lot of people don't realize that she was very well mistreated, especially when she was a young actor, and she was taken advantage of a lot. And she was an incredible talent that I know she's one of the most famous actors to ever live, but I still think she doesn't get her due for her talent alone. She was an incredible talent that just Hollywood didn't treat fair. And it's really sad to see, but Judy Garland was by far one of the best to ever do it. She came from like a vaudeville family background, so her parents were, I guess she kind of was like born into it, but she was like the one in her family that really broke out. And she started in 1936 with her career, and she was in, I think, Broadway Melody of, was it Broadway Melody from 1938, I think. Then obviously her and Mickey Rooney started to make some films together. I think their first one was Love Finds Andy Hardy, I believe. But I mean, obviously then The Wizard of Oz is what skyrocketed her, and she then became a huge star. And I don't think people realize that she made a lot of films up until like about 1950, 54. And after A Star is Born, where she was nominated for Academy Award, she didn't win. She gave one last fantastic performance in Judgment at Nuremberg, an incredible film from 1961. Stanley Kramer. Incredible cast in that. Highly recommend. The film itself is about like 3 hours long, so if you have, that's a weekend watch. It's about the Nuremberg trials. But she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress there. Yeah, Judy Garland. I mean, she did win a Juvenile Academy Award, but she never won an Academy Award for Best Actress or anything. She's only never nominated for 2 other Oscars for supporting and actress for A Star is Born. And obviously her Star is Born is kind of like the most famous Star is Born, but there was also a Star is Born before Judy Garland's. But yeah, The Clock's great. Obviously Meet Me in St. Louis. For Me and My Gal. Babes on Broadway. The Harvey Girls. Easter Parade. The Pirate. Gene Kelly. And yeah, and The Good Old Summertime is the one that I was talking about earlier. And, yeah, she was one of the best to ever do it. I think the person that does steal the show in this film is Tootie, Margaret O'Brien. I mean, she gives an incredible performance as someone in this family that really, really stands out. And she looks fucking... She's fucking great. She's fucking great, I would say. I think she had been acting up until this point. I think she had done like, I think like 10 films up to this point. So she wasn't like, this is her first thing. She was already pretty established as a young actor. And I think she commands the screen just as much as Judy Garland does. She's incredible in this. And for as a child actor, and sometimes it's really hard to stand out at this time. I mean, you had like Shirley Temple as a young child actor. I mean, Judy Garland started when she was like probably 14, but to really establish yourself as a young actor, you really got to stand out. And Margaret O'Brien really really, really stands out, and especially in this film. And there's a lot of scenes in this where Margaret O'Brien is crying and kind of a. And there's one scene, especially particularly at the end, where she's like really, really crying, like really, really losing it, and you kind of wonder like how did Minnelli get her to do that? But what they say was that O'Brien's mother would always whisper something into her ear before she had to do an emotional scene where she was going to be crying. And one day, Minnelli went up to her mother and asked, "Hey, how do you get her to cry? Like, what do you say to her?" And O'Brien's mother, he said that O'Brien's mother turned to him and said, "She has a dog, and you'll have to say someone is going to kill it." And he was like, "Oh, well, okay." So, pretty heavy stuff to say to a young child. Hey, you have a dog, and someone's gonna kill it. But that was her mother, I guess. Her mother said that's what worked, and I think Minnelli told her once that, and she started crying. And Minnelli said that he went home and was so traumatized that he said that to her that he didn't sleep that night, and he apologized in the morning. But yeah, some people go to dark places in order to get their emotion out of them. That's pretty heavy to say to a kid, though. That's pretty heavy to say to a kid. But yeah, in this scene here too, like she's acting opposite Judy Garland, doing the same song and dance as Judy Garland, and she's holding her own. And to me, that's what makes her stand out. She has the confidence to be like, I can be with Judy Garland. But again, this is a whole set, and they use every single aspect of this set. They're using, they're putting the camera now behind the stairs. Like we're in these scenes. We're using everything. We built this entirely detailed house interior. Let's fucking use it. Let's use this entire thing. People are probably going to listen to this, are probably going to get annoyed again, but Pat talking about lighting is about to come up, so I hope you I hope you love me talking about lighting again, because I'm going to talk about lighting, because I love lighting in the 1940s and the 30s. The beauty of amazing classic cinema lighting. I mean, who doesn't love that? Let's be perfectly honest. Who doesn't love good lighting? If you love cinema, you love good lighting. And obviously, her next door neighbor here is also going to be a idiot and not realize throughout this whole scene that Judy Garland is trying to kiss him. Oh. She's so good with just moving closer to him and just staring at his face, and like you can see the tension in her eyes and how close they are, and they're just shaking hands, but you can see the tension and how they do find an attraction towards each other, and they do like each other. And again, that's in the physical performance. That's not on the page. Actors can take things. I think I was recently listening to an interview. I forget what director it was or which writer. They were saying that a lot of the times they don't have to write. Like there might not be a lot of dialogue on the page, but they have incredible actors that can do more with their physical acting of what is written, which helps the writer out a lot. Because the writer could be like she's nervous or something, or she keeps staring at him. Well, what does that look like in the frame? If you have a good actor, especially right here with this incredible pull down and the lighting, oh, looks incredible, looks beautiful. But you can have a longing stare like that, where on the page it could just be she stares at him. But when Judy Garland reads that, it's going to be a longing stare. I'm looking deep into his eyes, like I want him to kiss me. And she's kissing him with her eyes, but that's not on the page. And that's all through the performance of Judy, and that shows how great of an actor she was. If you can act with your face and your body as well as obviously delivering the lines incredible, then you're an incredible actor. Look at me, I'm talking about acting when they're doing all this lighting. I mean, they turned off all those lights there, and again, it's dark, but you can see their faces. Take note. You can still light things at nighttime and see people's faces. I don't know why I whispered that, but for the love of God, when you're doing a scene today and it's nighttime, show their damn face. It's okay to not have natural lighting. It's okay. It's kind of wild how long it would take to turn the lights off back in 1903. Because you had to go to everything, and these are all like gas lamps, and they're all candles, and you had to turn off every single light. Maybe that's where the term we were talking. Maybe that's where the term "turn off the lights" comes from. We got to turn off every single light by hand. We don't have one giant switch. We got to go to every single one and turn off all the switches. But I like those effects that they do there when those lights go down, and when she comes down here in the stairs and the light hitting her right in the beautiful, and the light right on him. Two beautiful, incredible shots. They look so simple, but they're stunning to look at. I mean, look at that color. Look at that light. Ugh. The term, they just don't make them like they used to. They really just do not make them like they used to. These two frames are completely beautiful. And you have Judy Garland standing above him because she knows that they both do like each other, and she can now sing down to him, and he's fully in love with her. Who wouldn't want Judy Garland singing from the top of the stairs down to you? I mean, who wouldn't want that? I mean, let's be honest. It's Judy Garland. Hope you can't hear me sipping on the amount of liquids I have here. I have different types of drinks. I have coffee. I have water. I have sparkling water. Hopefully you can't hear me sipping on that. But if you can, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about that. God, I just wish more people would take the time to discover. I mean, I think it's also, again, that's the beauty of cinema. I probably talked about it a lot, but someone discovering this film that's getting into movies that's maybe like 18 years old, and maybe they're going to go to college for film, or they just want to study film and get into it, and they discover this film from 1944 starring Judy Garland, Margaret O'Brien. They're watching Turner Classic Movies one day, and they turn it on, and they sit down for a couple hours, and they're perfectly in love with what they're watching. They realize that this is an incredible film. It's just beautiful. And you can still make beautiful films today. Now, I think I actually did the Warner Brothers TCM tour about like a month ago now of this recording, and they were talking about how this train station I think was used. This is the Warner Brothers lot. It was used in a lot of films. But there was a fire in the early 50s. There's two fires. I think the first fire was one of the sound stages completely burned down. Um, I think the second fire was the one that like really destroyed a lot of the sets, the classic sets of these movies, and that whole block of where these houses are, like the houses of or hers, like the exteriors. I could be completely wrong, but that whole block of homes may have burned down during that fire, and they're just not there anymore. And sometimes, obviously, these studios move on with production and how they shoot things, and they build sound stages, and some things have to be torn down in order for them to do that. It's just sad because you're erasing a lot of film history. And sometimes I hope even this trolley scene, the trolley song, is which is the Academy Award nominated song. Maybe parts of this trolley are somewhere in the Warner Brothers archives and MGM archives, and I hope they are. I hope people preserve this stuff, and even if your movie's not a hit, or if it is a hit, you preserve everything that was on the film. You never know. You never know. When I was actually on that tour, I think they talked. I was about that train station. They talked about that train station and how a lot of film is shot there, but now it's just an office building. But no, you never know. You never know. What I love about this too is this scene starts with a song, and Judy Garland's not singing. She's disappointed, and obviously now we see her boy. He's coming. He's trying to catch the train. He's trying to catch the trolley. He wants to come sing the trolley song too. But now that she's happy, she's now singing. You're starting the song without Judy Garland singing. It's just kind of interesting or ballsy to be like, hey. But now when that she's happy now, you're like, okay, Judy Garland is overpowering all these people singing. She's incredible. But he's not fumbling as hard as what's his name in the beginning that was fumbling Rose Warren. He's not fumbling. He's trying to catch up. But even here, this blocking here, look at all these heads here. You can see everybody's face. It's little simple things like that when you rewatch these movies, you notice certain new details that you probably didn't notice before. Because there's so much to look at. There's so much detail to look at, and to me, there's so much to study with this classic cinema. And I just wish more people would discover it and take the time to really seek these films out. And I know people don't like musicals, and sometimes it's hard to get people to listen to or watch a musical because they just don't like them, and that's fine. You don't have to like everything, but you can appreciate the filmmaking aspect of what you're seeing and realizing that, yeah, this is a movie, but it looks like a movie, and it looks beautiful. It looks better than 90% of what you see today. Like, look at this color. And they're leaving these shots, like the frame. They're letting the actors act. They're letting the actors sing. They're not using many cuts. And I think that's a lot of the problem today is like there's a lot of editing in films. Like the term, we'll fix it in post. We'll fix the mistake in post. And you can fix mistakes in post, but sometimes it's nice to let actors just act in the frame and let the frame go. Oh no, now that he's sitting next to her, she's like, hey, I don't know how to act now. So now we're transitioning to autumn. Autumn in 1903. Just want to take the time, if you're still along for the ride right now, we are about halfway through this film, and I love bringing these classic films to our listeners' ears. I really hope that our listeners, if they've never seen these films and they're like, oh, when he just dropped an episode on Meet Me in St. Louis, I've never seen it, and they go out and seek it and they watch it and they fall in love with it. Maybe it becomes their new favorite film. I think that's what's beautiful about discovering any cinema. You can find a film that you've never heard before and you turn it on and you realize that, wow, when it ends, that might have been one of my favorite films I've ever seen. I want to watch that again. Or you go and buy it. You buy the physical copy. There's a Blu-ray of this. There is a Blu-ray of this from Warner Archive, the Warner Archive collection. No 4K yet, though. No 4K. Where's the 4K? Where is the damn 4K? We need a 4K of Meet Me in St. Louis because it probably would look fucking incredible. Maybe it is coming this year. We don't know. It's still early in the year. This is when really Tootie and Agnes are going to go on. Like, there's a Halloween scene in this film. So could this be a Halloween film of movie to watch? I don't know. It could be that as well. Let's all watch this on Halloween night. But this is really the 2D scene where I think she really stands out. And this is what really makes her kind of like the heart of this film. The heart of this family is her. Even though she's the youngest, she has the loudest voice. Even though she's youngest, she has the loudest voice. Margaret O'Brien is what was the other film that she was in? Bear with me while I look this up. Ah, yes. Okay. I don't know why I didn't know this. She was in the 1949 version of Little Women. She played Beth March. Yes, there's been. Actually, I think there's every single studio version of Little Women's been actually very solid films. There's a 39 version with Katharine Hepburn. There's the 49 version with Margaret O'Brien. And there's the 90s version with Christian Bale and Winona Ryder. And then obviously the Greta Gerwig one, 2019. Yeah, Margaret O'Brien went on to be in Little Women. She is still been acting up until 2018. It was. She's still alive. She's 89 years old. And she resides in San Diego, California. But she's probably most known for this film. She's still a good friend of Turner Classic Movies. I think every once in a while she'll be on some of the broadcasts when they talk about Meet Me in St. Louis. Yeah, probably one of the best child performances ever. I love this. The lighting here, this nighttime scene, and them actually lighting the bonfire and destroying things, and they're actually scared of. I think this what's great is like when they come into frame here, they're kind of scared of her. Like they're like, "Who's this?" So Tootie blends in perfectly. Like she's kind of intimidating. But it shows how good their costumes are. Their kids were scared. The kids were scared. But I love these shots here because Tootie's always facing them. You never really see her interacting with them. She's, again, because it's kind of establishing that she's kind of her own person. She wants to help, but she's always, they don't want her to because she's too small. But to me, again, I said it earlier, but she has the loudest voice in the room, even within these scenes with her, with these kids. She still stands out. She has the loudest voice. She wants to be known. She wants to be seen as someone that's like, she can hang with the cooler kids. She has to stay there because she's too little. But she wants to go hang with them. It's Halloween night. She wants to show that she is just as strong as anyone else. And I think that's what's important for her character. She's and she's showing that she is the strongest of anyone here. She can be the strongest member of her family too, because all it takes is the confidence and the voice of being who you are. And this is who Tootie is. She is a strong person. Even though she's a child, she's more strong and confident than most people in real life. She's not scared of anything. She might be scared to do it, but in the moment, she's not scared to say that she's going to do it. And Manelli using those kind of like, looks like a greeting card in the beginning, when they're beginning of each like season, when it says like spring, autumn, and then there'll eventually be winter. I think he took that idea from Orson Welles and the Magnificent Ambersons, when that's how they do their transition to the next season. But it looks great. It kind of looks like you're looking at a postcard of a different era, and you use the dissolve into the actual frame. I guess this is a horror film. Is this a horror film? It takes place on Halloween night. I don't know. Where's Michael Myers? Well, now Tootie's got to show that she's scared. She's gonna go knock on this person's door. This lighting here is incredible. It's like a kind of like a noir. Like even that blocking there. Look, you have the dog, the wife, eventually who Tootie throws something in his face. She looks terrified right now. I mean, look at the lighting with the branches and on the house. It's supposed to be the moonlight, but again, people wouldn't light that like this today. They would light it, quote unquote, natural lighting. Well, here we go. And you have his. What do you want? This guy kind of looks like his dog. I hate you, Mr. Malcolm. Throws flour in his face. Oh, Tootie. But would any of those other kids done that? I don't know. Tootie has the confidence to do things like that because that's who she is. I love how the wind picks up as she runs away too. Like she's in such shock. No, he didn't do anything. She says that she killed him. I love how in shock Tootie is. Now Margaret O'Brien is not even looking at anybody really. She's just looking off into the distance. This is another great scene here too, to show kind of tension and using child actors with that tension. And I feel like if you're like, even probably Spielberg watching when he made Hook, maybe he watched this scene here to see how a bunch of kids interact, and how he's going to be directing a bunch of the Lost Boys. And it's a great scene, to very well directed with child actors. They actually had a lot of production delays on this for this film. Like I think a lot of the actors actually got like really sick during it. It went over budget. It was behind schedule. I think the filming began December 1st, 1943, and Wasn't completed till April 7th, 1944. Way behind schedule, and the budget eventually went up to 1.8 million because of the delays they had, and a lot of the actors were sick. I think Mary Astor got a pneumonia. Joan Carroll had appendicitis. I think Margaret O'Brien was sick for a little bit too. I mean, it's also a kid. A lot of kids get sick very easily. And during that time too, there's a lot of severe flooding in LA at that time. A lot of the exteriors were flooded out, and they'd have to like rebuild them. And it's kind of hard when you're using sets outside, and the weather you can't control. So if there's going to be a lot of rain and flooding, your sets could be flooded out, and that can be an issue. It causes delays, causes further production problems, causes the budget to go up. And you'll have a producer in the corner that's really angry on the set because they need more money. Now we have Tootie coming back with a bloody lip, and she have a broken tooth. I don't know if she has a broken tooth, but Tootie here being a bad sister, saying that John next door, he tried to kill her. So now we're gonna have Judy Garland run next door and confront John. Oh, Tootie, what are you doing? What are you doing? But I think it goes to show that Tootie does have a strong voice in this house, and when she says something, everyone's gonna believe her because it's Tootie. She's like she's like the heart of the family. She's the heart and soul of the family. But kids also lie. Kids lie for attention, and she's lying for attention here. I also love that doctors back then would make house call visits at what, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. But now we have Esther. Judy Garland's gonna go run next door and confront her boyfriend yet? Question mark. Boyfriend. Confront her person that she likes. He's been waiting outside for her. And here's your oh, Tootie, why would you say that he hit you? Now she's gonna beat him up. But I feel like it's like John's character. He thinks that she's like messing around. Like he's probably like, "What are you talking about? I didn't do anything." Which later we're gonna find out that John was actually protecting Judy because the kids may have gotten in trouble with the police for what they were doing outside, and John kind of maybe he fought the police off so that Judy could get away. I don't know. They were doing pranks during Halloween, so cops are gonna show up when kids do that. I think also too, like the costume designs, like everyone's costume is so distinct and beautiful. It's all distinct and beautiful. It looks beautiful in the frame. Everything looks freaking beautiful. Even their costumes, are they're supposed to be like covered up in a bunch of their clothes are all ripped. Like it's in beautiful costume design. And here we go here. Like again, look at the blocking. And now they realize that they were completely lying. That they were like Tootie doesn't understand that she what she does and says has consequences, and that's what kids don't understand. And I think that's what the lesson being taught here is Tootie lied. Oh, Tootie. You can't be throwing John under the bus. He was trying to help you. He was trying to help you. But I think that's like it's supposed to show that yeah, the kids do things that are bad and they have consequences, and you're gonna say that someone next door beat you up. Like they think it's funny, but what Esther just did, she basically ran over there and beat him up, and like they're kind of all laughing now. But John was probably like, "What the hell is going on? I have no idea what the hell just happened." But I love that they have Judy Garland's her shirt ripped there. She's getting rough and tumble, as they say, but I love that now that we know that John is innocent, we put the camera now on the porch, creating like we're with John. We know that John didn't do anything wrong, so we can be closer to John with the camera. And Judy Garland knows that he didn't do anything wrong. And now the lighting is completely different. The lighting when she ran over there and attacked him was all very dark and dimly lit, and now we have them together in the frame, and she is completely under the light, and their light is now both on both of them. She realized that she's made a mistake, and now that kind of comfort lighting is back between them. Just a bad prank gone wrong from Tootie. I think she probably should have got a little more of a consequence towards her for lying about that. It's a big thing to lie about, but hey, it's a film from 1944. We'll let it slide. We'll let it slide because Tootie's great. She's great. They actually had the premiere for this film in St. Louis in November 22nd, 1944. I'm at the Astor Theater there for 1 week. So they actually did premiere this in St. Louis, even though obviously it's not St. Louis, but they did have the premiere there. And obviously, I think a lot of people obviously like, is this a Christmas film? People say yes. Some people say no. It just only has a Christmas scene kind of at the end, or the ending is just Christmas. But it did come out during the Christmas time. Um, so that's why people consider this a holiday classic. I do as well. And now we have their first kiss. We have their first kiss. He finally kissed her after what she's been waiting for so long. And she's, you know what to do. She's in shock now. She's completely in shock. And I think this goes back to what I was saying earlier about actors' performance with their body and what they read on the page and how they act in the scene. It could very well, on paper, just say Esther is in shock now. So when she comes back in, it's all in the performance. The one line of action in the script, Esther is in shock, but also happy, but in shock. It's all in the performance. And you can clearly tell if you're one of her family members that clearly something happened there. Clearly she's in love. Everyone else knows what happened. But again, it's in the performance of Judy Garland. I love sometimes that they make parents kind of oblivious to what their kids are doing, but then you have the young kids that know exactly what's happening. And Agnes and Agnes and Tootie are wearing the same kind of color because they're kind of the same mind sometimes, especially in this scene. They're thinking the same. I'm gonna start saying that from now on. Well, another Halloween. We're all a year older. Just on Halloween though, not on Christmas, not on New Year's. Only on Halloween. And now we're gonna get the reveal that he just got a new job. He got a promotion, and that promotion is moving to New York. But again, like when it comes to like his kind of character, he actually hasn't been in the movie in a while. He's been only in, I think, was that just that dinner scene was the last scene that he was in. So we're about what, over an hour into this film. We're over halfway through this film, and now he's back in the family because the heart of the family is the kids. But now he's been offered the job in New York, and now the tone completely goes from happy, loving, everyone's happy, it's Halloween night, to a shock. And what do you do when he brings that shocking news? He shoots them all in their frame while he's shooting the father in his own frame, because he's kind of alone in this, thinking of moving. He thought they would all be so happy, but this is their lives are here. And now you have the shocked Judy Garland face here of, yes, she's in love with John next door, but it's a different kind of shock now. She's realizing that she may never see him again, and that's extremely painful. But again, they're all shot separate. Both sides of the table are shot in their own frame, and he was shot by himself. He's alone in this. His color in the frame, he's very gray. He's all alone. But in his mind, he's like, I'm the head of the household. I make the decision. But to ask your entire family to root up their entire life to go to a different city, especially if you're a teenager or like 18 and you don't know anyone, your friends are all here, and they've been waiting for the World's Fair to come. But sometimes parents can be stubborn and not listen to their kids and realize that having kids move around is can be very painful. It's hard to make friends. Like anyone would say, it's hard to make friends. And they're going to be moving there at the end of the year. They're going to be moving there at Christmas time or after Christmas. So to tell them that you're gonna, and I think he's like trying to ease this tension a little bit with this scene. We'll talk about this later. He's kind of trying to change the tone, and as he's trying to do that, you slowly bring him back into the frame, acting with people and on the same level as them, and trying to distract them by like, "Oh, let's eat some food now." But they're all still angry, but he's kind of ignoring them. Like he's just kind of being like, "It doesn't matter." Again, he's trying to cut the tension, literally cut the tension, because he's literally cutting a cake. He's trying to cut the tension with what's going on and offering everyone cake, and they don't care. They're all very upset, and he's it. This is like the comedy from the 40s. Isn't like using cake. That cake looks fucking perfect. Honestly, I'd eat that cake. But he thinks that obviously he's coming home. He thinks that they would all be so happy, and he's trying to be like, this is all your favorite cake. I don't know why you don't want to eat it. But again, he's kind of oblivious in a certain way that kind of Tootie's oblivious to like what she says. She doesn't understand that her actions have consequences, and he doesn't understand that his actions have consequences too. If you're going to tell your family that you're operating their entire life to go to New York and you expect them all to be happy, you're kind of oblivious. And they don't want to do that, and they're all angry and upset. They love living here. Sometimes you have to listen to your family, and I don't know. He might listen to his family a little later, but I guess we'll see. We'll have to see because that film is not over yet. But again, this shot right here, using the set, using the scene. He went from sitting in one chair, we pulled all the way back into another room for him sitting in another chair. The camera's been moving the whole time. The lighting is all lit perfectly. You're using the set. You're using what is in front of you, and we're seeing it all perfectly in the frame. And I love that little moment there when his wife comes over with the cake and hands it to him and gives him a kiss, being like, we'll figure this out. And this is their way of coming together. Like, she knows that, yeah, he made a mistake here, but she's still his wife, and she's going to support him in the decision that he's making. I can see the song Meet Me in St. Louis right there, the lyrics to it. But I think she's coming over to play the piano so that she can show that there is still warmth in this household right now. There is still love in this household, even though he just came and brought a hammer down on them of shocking news. She's trying to ease the tension what he was trying to do with the cake. But she knows that if she does it and brings him back to a calm respect within the family and sing together because they are a family, we'll have the rest of the family slowly trickle down the stairs to come down and listen to them, to listen to their love. Again, this is another great scene. Another great scene of showing things happening in the frame, especially in the background here. You pulled the camera up a little bit as the kids all perfectly come down the stairs. And they're all coming down to be like, this is our family, and we're going to do this all together as a family. I don't think he's actually singing here, but it's still a beautiful scene. They all left him, and now they're all coming back. They're coming back to get their cake. As the line of the song there, Tootie tried to reach for the cake. As time goes by, we will still be together, you and I. Again, you have the blocking here where everyone's perfectly in the frame. Yeah, everyone there, perfect. Looks fucking beautiful. Sometimes you just have to sit and admire what you're watching. And then what do you do when he sits down to come on the same level as his wife, Mary Astor? Is you have them both start singing. He came back down to the level of the family. And it's beautiful as we fade into the next postcard as we enter winter of 1903. We've reached Christmas, guys. We've reached Christmas. Thank you all for joining me on this Christmas time in April of 2026. We're watching a Christmas film. I love that you can see like the track of where the kid extras need to put the sleigh for it to slide. It's also kind of wild to think that these older films, their fake snow that they would use is I would say not the healthiest to probably be around, is what I'll say. A lot of people got very sick during this time because of the fake things that they would use for snow or even rain. People got really sick then. Not a lot of proper health code being followed as it is today, is what I'll say. A lot of the times it was just kind of, we're going to do it as we go. I love how flat the clothes are in the back. Clearly, like, completely fake, but I love it. It gives it a little comedic relief. Like right here, like the it's like frozen, but it's clearly like paper, but it looks like frozen. I love it. I love it. I like the amount of I love all the different snowmen that they have. It's a lot of snowmen to build. I don't think I've ever really built that many snowmen growing up on the East Coast, but they take a long time to do, honestly. These are very detailed snowmen. I think what this film also, I think a lot of people, like film historians, kind of talk about is how this film resembles the idea of what the nostalgic factor of America was. Like, this is 1940s America. The entire film, about 95% of it, or 90% of it, takes place within this house. This is that American family from the 40s that you would see in movies, as in, this is the American, I guess, like the nostalgic idea of what America can be and how simple life can be, and how some of the simplest things that you want out of life are just a family, and that's all you need. And there's so much going on in this household. There's so much distinct character within this house. The house is a character itself. And that's what any family can be, and that's what these films do, I think, so well from this era, is show that family dynamic of love and comfort within the movie. It shows the love and comfort of the family that we're watching, and each one of these characters loves everyone else, even though they want to go off and do bigger and better things. As of now in this film, they are still going to be moving to New York. This is going to be their last Christmas ball that they're going to, and they're hoping to be asked by a certain someone that would take them to the ball, but sometimes things don't happen that they want to, and we'll find out with Esther that she's hoping that John's going to ask her to the Christmas Eve ball, and Well, we'll have to see if he does. Again, the men in this film fumble hard. They act too dumb. Act too dumb with the person that they're supposed to be with right in front of their eyes. Now we have the scene here. Again, with his bad news being delivered, what do we do here? We have that same lighting. He's going to be more darkly lit while Judy's more lit up. She's excited to see him, but this whole frame looks very cold. This house feels very warm, especially what we just saw. But this scene feels so cold because he's telling her that he's basically going to be going away. She's wearing blue. It's dark outside. He's wearing blue. His eyes look ice cold. He doesn't mean to be doing this, but he's going to be leaving her right now. And she's very sad that this might be the last time she ever sees him because she's going to be moving to New York in like on a few weeks. And this is her last Christmas here. And yeah, it's like it's a few days, not a few weeks. But yeah, and like it's very simple. What do? You dress Judy in all blue. She's been wearing blue throughout this film, but the blue in this scene feels so much different than it did earlier, and it feels so much colder. The scene feels so cold. He's wearing it's so dark in here. Not a lot of color there. You have her then run into the next frame. She falls on her bed in front of her. I don't know, at the foot of the bed where it feels very. She feels very caged now. She feels very like trapped into what she wants to be in society, what society is telling her that she needs to find her boy. She needs to find and find her guy to marry. And when her sister says that, hey, didn't we just say that, hey, we can go to the ball as a family, we should ask your brother, we can go as a family. And when she brings up some sort of reconciliation of like, hey, yeah, you can't go with John, he's not going to be here, but maybe go with your brother. And that's when she comes up from out of that cage being like, hey, what did you say to me? Because she was so confident that John was going to ask her. So she said, hey, if you don't have someone to go with you, just go with our brother. But again, that shows the dynamic of like Esther is a little too confident when it comes to stuff. And sometimes you can be overly confident when some things don't end up working out. This um, Harry Davenport's so good at being he's so good at being a grandpa in this movie. Like if you looked at him, you're like that guy's a grandpa. He's so good at it. He's so distinct to me in this film. He stands out as well. Like I mean I talked about it earlier, but every single actor in here just completely stands out. They stand out in their performance. And a lot of these older character actors like Harry Davenport, like they never got their due. Like he's in some of the biggest films of all time. I mean, he's in Gone with the Wind. But some people today have no idea who that actor is. They have no idea that he's one of the great character actors of the time. They don't know that Mary Astor from the Maltese Falcon is the mom and Meet Me in St. Louis. Like they have no idea. I mean, look at that green on Mary. Like that whole outfit it's beautiful. Just pops. And I love the set design here with like the cold on the glass. And what they do here when they go through the glass, but the door opens up. Right there, you can see the door opening up as they come into the frame now. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Like using that establishing shot from the outside to come into then the ballroom that they're having the dancing in. I mean, you can just it's so easy just establishing that I can feel the coldness outside. as we come in to the ballroom here. It's kind of what when we were rewatching this. You have a dance card. You have a list of people who you're going to be dancing with for each song. I wonder when that stopped. Do you have a dance card? Imagine going to like a dance now, like a high school dance. If you like, you were in high school or you had a dance card. Who's all right? This is the 10th song. I have my 10th dance now. This is the guy, obviously from the beginning, that was calling during the dinner scene. And now he's finally here. He's finally here, and is he gonna dance with Rose? I don't know. I don't know. And then you have Lucille here that may be starting to then dance with their older brother. Everyone's gonna be paired off. Everyone's gonna be paired off, but Esther still doesn't have John here. Doesn't have John. But I don't know. Is he coming? Is he coming? I don't know. I mean, just look at the. I think the one color that looks so great in Technicolor is green. Green just really, really, really pops out. Obviously, red does, but the green just, to me, also really, really, really pops. And that's what Hitchcock used then in Vertigo, like using that green. Green, it looks so. Green and red just looks so good, so good together. You have Esther and Rose wearing green and red, the colors of Christmas. They are Christmas. They're sisters. But now she has to give her the. Yeah, now she's realizing that she's going to be all alone here because they're all pairing off, and she is her by herself. She doesn't have a dance card. And again, to me, it's in that face acting there from Judy. Her face acting of realizing that she's going to be all alone here, and again on the page, it could say Judy, or not Judy. I would say Judy. It would say Esther. Esther realizes that she's going to be alone. That's all it could say, and you as a performer have to show that in the frame. And she was hoping to possibly keep Lucille's card here, but then this also shows that she does have a good heart. She's gonna give her card to her. She does have a good heart, and I think that her grandfather knows that she has a good heart. And she could have been an asshole there, but she's not. And so now that she's now she has to dance with these crazy teenage boys that are throwing her around the room that don't know how to dance. And I love how fast that they move the camera here because this guy doesn't have no idea what he's doing. Even she's like, what the hell is going on here? Jesus Christ. Then we have the dissolve to this other guy just throwing her around. Everyone else is dancing so elegantly, but she's having being thrown around. It's almost like it's kind of like a punishment of her being overconfident and a little too cocky. And then we have right here that her grandfather comes up and is like, all right, she's had enough. She's had enough of this punishment. I'm going to step in here and dance with my granddaughter. But what I love happens here. I love this moment coming up. For those that have seen it, you know what's about to happen, but I love what they do here. And I love the simple elegance of it's very simple. The grandfather knows how to dance. She's so much more happy with her grandfather. Yeah. She says, "Grandfather, you're the first human being I've danced with tonight. You actually are treating me like a person." It's their last dance in St. Louis. I think Grandpa may have just spotted somebody. But I love that we don't see who he spotted. And we do it with the camera. We do it with the camera movement and the blocking and of what's about to happen here. And I love what they do. She obviously goes behind the Christmas tree and who is it? It's John. He's back. Beautiful. The happiness in her eyes. Grandpa's a real one. Leave Grandpa on the plane. Then we dissolve to see what they did here now. Look at the lighting on John's face. It's more lit up. She's happy, but she's also sad that she's leaving, but she's happy with the love that they have. Yeah, it's a simple it's simple lighting. Like they're outside in the cold. It's clearly cold. It's blue around them, but that light gives you the warmth and the love that they have between each other, and it's the confidence in doing that, the confidence in lighting things like that, having the scene outside. If you have the confidence in doing that, it works, and I think it works super super well here. And now they're gonna get married. They love each other. The love was right under their noses. They were just right next door to each other. But again, like I think what you can tell so much with lighting and how everything is lit in the frame. Like they're the only ones like lit right now, and you have the moon in the back. Like your eye is drawn to them. It's like I said, it's a cold around them. It's a cold feeling of her leaving, but there's a warm feeling of love there, and that's why when we cut to the close up of them together, you give that 50s, like 50s, it's the 40s, that glossy tint of this image right here, and this gloss is what classic cinema is all about. You have these beautiful close-ups of two people talking about their love for each other and how much they love each other, and that's when you have this shot here. It's just so beautiful. It looks incredible. It looks like classic cinema is what I'll say. It looks like classic cinema. They actually did have eventually during this time too. A lot of these films would then do like radio broadcasts of a like more of a shortened down version of the film. So like say this movie's almost 2 hours long. The radio broadcast might only be an hour. Like they'll take out a lot of the dialogue scenes, and it just kind of that's the scenes of them like dancing. It's just more straight dialogue, but a lot of those times they would have the actors in these roles. They would reprise their roles for the radio broadcast, and in 1946, they Judy Garland and O'Brien reprised their roles for the radio broadcasts. I think a lot of the other actors were different actors, but they would do like live radio performances at night. You would sit around the fireplace, turn the radio on, and listen to a story. Back in the day, they obviously didn't have TVs at home. When the president was talking on the radio, it'd be a fireside chat, is what they would call it. And you'd all sit by the fire and listen to someone talk on the radio, listen to the news of the day. Or you would listen to a radio broadcast of a film that you love. And that simple images right there of him closing the blinds. Is it a closing of their relationship? The light just closed on her face. And here we go to what I think is probably the most famous scene besides the trolley scene in this film. But when people think of this film, they think, if they have seen this film, they think of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas song that Judy Garland sings. Again, I said it in the beginning, but this is the film that song is used in. Here we go. She sings it right now. Very iconic song. Iconic song for the holiday season, and that's probably why everyone considers this a Christmas film. But when the song was originally written in the original script, the original lyrics were Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last. Next year, we will all be living in the past. And Judy Garland read those opening lyrics and said, I am not going to be telling a 6-year-old that this may be her last Christmas ever. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I do that? So she told them, you need to rewrite this song. So obviously they rewrote it, and you have the now iconic version of the song. So if you didn't know, yeah, those were the original opening lyrics to the song. But I would say this, for me, this is probably Judy Garland's, for me personally, but I don't know if I'm going to get flack for this, but I think this is her best song that she ever sang. Again, we had in the opening of the film with her singing out the window. Again, you just need to put Judy Garland in the window and have her sing to us through the window, and we will all be captivated. And you have the incredible performance here of Margaret O'Brien, just slowly losing it, crying next to her with this beautiful voice, beautiful song. I couldn't imagine 1944 holiday time and hearing that song in theaters, watching this in theaters, and I'd be blown away. I would be absolutely blown away into those beautiful. Yeah, there you go. That's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And now we have Margaret O'Brien's going to run outside. Tootie's going to run outside. And Tootie's angry. She's angry that, which is ironic because she was the one at the dinner table when he first gave the news that they were moving. She's like, I'm going to go grab all my stuff. I can't wait to move. We're going to go pack now. But she's the one causing the destruction. She doesn't want to leave at all. She knows that this is where her heart is. This is where her home is. And she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want this to be, in her mind, it's like, this could be my last Christmas. I don't want this feeling to go away. I don't want the feeling of this warmth and comfort to go away. And this acting here, too, from Margaret O'Brien is incredible. It looks like she is completely losing it. She can't control her crying. She's like literally losing it. And from what I said earlier of how her mother would get her to really, really cry, like she's really breathing heavy here. Like when you're watching it, I'm like, she is really, really crying here. But this is what you need. You need the father to overhear his children talking about how much they love each other and how much they're going to be a family no matter where they're going. But he's been trying to say that to them, but he's not giving it in the way that Judy Garland just gave it to Tootie there. He just overheard what he really should have been hearing from the beginning. And then what was it we have here? We have him walking around the room. We have him see things that he probably hasn't seen before. He hasn't seen his children in a way that he probably should have been. He hasn't seen that the life that they've built here. In his mind, he goes to work and he comes home and eats dinner. And I think he needed that. He needed to see that. And then we have the image of him with the shadow of the clock now covered in newspaper. I love what they do here too. You can see obviously the outline of where the paintings were, like kind of like a smoky interior. Like those paintings have been hanging there for a while. They've been in this house for a while. And that's all you need. You just need images like that. You need images of where the paintings used to be. And what does that show? That shows that this family has been here for a long time. This is their house. This is their heart. And what I love about this too is they walk right past him. They don't even notice him. He even feels lost in this house now. He's probably feeling lost in this family, and that if he does end up moving them to New York, will he lose his family? Will he lose the heart and soul of the family? Honestly, it's a badass way to light a to light a match. It's just use your foot. But now he realizes, wait, he knows what to do. And what do? We keep pushing in slowly. He knows the answer. He knows the answer of what they need to do. It's almost like he kind of has an idea, the light bulb, and the idea's gone off. He turns the lights on. Everybody, come downstairs now. He's now being the person who he should have been the whole time. He's now being the head of the house. He's now being what the heart and soul of the house should have been. We're going to stay here till we rot. Because he knows that the importance of who they are is together in this house. This is who they've always been. And also to give this news on Christmas Eve, it's the greatest Christmas gift they're ever going to receive. They could be a family in New York, but they are who they are in this house in St. Louis, and they will always be who they are in this house in St. Louis. And this guy just bursts in and says, "Hey Rose, we're getting married, and that's final." I love that he points and says, "I love you," and then he just runs outside. He cuts to the dad saying, "Who the hell was that?" We'll fill you in on that later. Who the hell was that? I mean, luckily they were all downstairs. That guy would have just burst in the middle. They were all sleeping upstairs. He'd have just burst inside. Hmm. But I mean, yeah. What's the greatest joy of their lives now? They've received the gift of the love of each other. This is the greatest Christmas ever. We're staying here. We're staying in St. Louis. We're staying here as a family. So hey, why don't you meet me in St. Louis? But I love that they're all in the background, have opening their gifts. They're so excited, and this is the real. gift and comfort here of husband and wife of the family together. Great acting by Mary Astor there. Fantastic acting. So simple. Didn't say a word. Just walked over, touched her, probably like a family heirloom, and hugged her husband to say thank you. Very simple. Simple and amazing. They all look like they're about to go to a wedding, but they're about to go to the fair that they've been talking about the whole time. The World's Fair has arrived in St. Louis. It's going to be the greatest event of the century. It's in 1904, so there's no cars yet. Horse and carriage. It's a great day to go to the fair. We're all going to the fair. I mean, I think the pacing of this film, too, is incredible. Like, I mean, this movie's almost 2 hours long, and we go through an entire year of this family, and there's no notes to me. There's nothing to be trimmed. Everything is perfect as it is. I think the original cut, because they were was over 2 hours, and you have epics at this time that are over 3 hours long, but I think this movie is perfectly paced. It's perfect to what it needs to be, and no notes. And again, look at this set's incredible. I mean, that backdrop is absolutely incredible. All hand painted. I mean, they don't make them like they used to. They don't make them like they used to. And now we have Esther and John together. Everyone is together. I love those nuns there. I mean, you gotta have the nuns. You gotta have the nuns at the World's Fair. The family's growing. The family stayed, but the family's growing. Now there's two new husbands entering the family, as well as possibly a new wife. Everyone's coming together. But I think that's what it is. It's like looks amazing. All the lights turning on at the World's Fair in St. Louis. And they have the title track slowly come in. Everyone paired off together. They don't have to go anywhere. It's right here in their backyard. It's right in their backyard. It's in their hometown. This is it. Probably a very famous shot ending here. Famous endings ever. Right here in St. Louis, as we fade to our title card of The End. Thank you all for listening to another classic cinema series. This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.